Welcome to the Karma Verdict. Let us get started with today's story. My name is Charlie, and 3 weeks before my wedding, the woman I was about to marry asked me for one last night with her ex. Not a phone call, not a coffee, not closure in the emotional sense. She meant a night, the kind that does not leave room for misinterpretation. I met Sophia 3 years ago at a friend's rooftop party. She was sharp, confident, and a little guarded. That kind of quiet beauty that does not try to draw attention but always does. We hit it off. We were not perfect, but we worked. We took our time, moved in together after a year, and got engaged after 2. The wedding was planned for early June. Summer venue just outside the city. Her dream setup. My parents had helped with the deposit. We locked in the disc jockey, the florist, and the cake tasting. She had her dress picked 6 months early. I was not nervous. I was ready, or at least I thought I was. About a month before the wedding, I noticed something was off with Sophia. Not big things, small ones. Her phone was face down more often, quiet during dinner. She would stare a little longer at nothing. I figured it was wedding stress. Pressure makes people weird. Then one night, we were sitting on the couch and she turned off the television mid-scene. "Charlie," she said, "can we talk?" I paused. "Sure, what is up?" She hesitated like she was testing the words in her head before letting them out. She folded her legs, leaned forward a little. "There is something I need to ask you," she said. "And I want you to just hear me out before you say anything." Something in my chest clicked. Not panic, not fear, just alert. I nodded slowly. "Okay." She took a breath. "It is about Liam, her ex." I did not say anything. I just looked at her. She was calm. She continued. "I need one night with him. Just one." I did not speak. I did not blink. That was the night everything changed. I did not say anything for a long time. Sophia just sat there waiting. Her hands were folded neatly in her lap like she was asking for something completely normal. Like she was requesting a weekend at a spa or an extra day off work. "I need one night with him," she repeated. "Just to talk, to be sure. To feel clear about everything." "To talk," I said. "That is what you are calling it?" She held my gaze. "Yes." I leaned back in the chair and exhaled through my nose. "You want to sleep with your ex before marrying me? That is what you are asking." Her jaw tightened. "That is not how I see it." "No," I said, "enlighten me." Sophia's voice stayed measured. She had rehearsed this. "It is not about being intimate, Charlie. Not about feelings. I have not seen him in over a year, but I need to be absolutely sure I am not carrying any unresolved questions into our marriage." I did not speak. She went on. "I thought I was over it, and maybe I am. But lately, I have had these thoughts like, what if I never got real closure? What if part of me is still confused about how things ended? I want to go into our marriage clean. I do not want to spend our life wondering." I stared at her. "You are asking me for permission to spend a night alone with Liam to figure out if you are over him, right before the wedding." "Yes," she said, "out of respect for you. I am not sneaking around. I am telling you the truth. I am being honest because I care." I let out a small laugh. "You care?" "I do," she said. "That is why I am not lying to you." I shook my head slowly. "And what happens if you realize you are not over him?" She looked down. "Then at least I will know." I stood up. She watched me nervous now for the first time. "Charlie." I raised a hand. "I am not going to yell. I am not going to argue. You want one night with your past? Fine." Her eyes widened slightly. "Really?" I nodded once. "Really?" She blinked. "Thank you for understanding." I did not answer. That was the last normal night we ever had. The next morning, I woke up early. She was still asleep beside me, peaceful, like she had not just detonated our engagement the night before. I did not bring it up. I acted normally because by then, I already knew I was leaving. That day, I made a list. Everything in my name, the utilities, my bank account tied to the venue deposits, the rental car for the honeymoon, the hotel bookings for my family, the moving van scheduled for the week after the wedding. I started making calls, quiet ones. Each call was a thread cut, and with each thread, I felt lighter. When I got home that evening, Sophia was cooking dinner. She kissed me like nothing had changed, and I kissed her back. Sophia left on a Friday afternoon. She had a small overnight bag slung over her shoulder, and she gave me a long hug at the door like this was some brave adult thing she was doing. Like she deserved a medal for being so honest. "I will be back tomorrow evening," she said. I nodded. She smiled a little. "You are handling this better than I thought." I shrugged. "Just want you to be sure." She kissed me on the cheek. I will call you when I am heading back. I stood in the doorway and watched her car disappear down the street. And then I went to work. First, I opened the closet and grabbed everything that was mine. Clothes, a watch box, and a few files. Then, I moved on to the safe under the bed, pulled the documents, passport, and cash envelope. I did not take anything that belonged to her. Not a single thing. I was not robbing her. I was removing myself. By sunset, my half of the apartment was a ghost. I loaded the last duffel into the back of my car and stood there for a moment, looking around the place we were supposed to start our life in. There was no yelling, no slammed doors, no drama. I left one thing behind, an envelope on the kitchen counter. Inside was a single page. Not a goodbye, not a rant, just this. You asked for one night with your past. You got it. I have chosen not to be part of your future, Charlie. Then I walked out and locked the door behind me. By the time she laid her head next to Liam's, I was halfway to another city. I did not check my phone. Did not wonder what she was doing. I had no interest in fighting for someone who needed a trial run before forever. She came back Saturday night, around 8:30. I know because the door camera sent me a notification when it detected motion. I watched the footage. She walked into the apartment smiling, bag over her shoulder, probably feeling proud of her mature decision to seek clarity. The living room camera picked her up next. She called my name once, then again louder. She walked into the bedroom and saw the closet door open. One side empty, the drawers half pulled, shoes missing. My desk cleared. At first, she thought we had been robbed. That is what she told Naomi, one of her friends. Later on, that the place had been cleared out. Then she saw the envelope on the counter. She called my phone immediately, straight to voicemail. She texted, nothing. Tried WhatsApp, blocked. Then she drove to my parents' place on Sunday morning. My dad answered the door and told her calmly that I was not there. Did not say where I was. Did not offer a seat. You can leave a message if you want, he said. She did not. By Monday morning, she had posted on social media a long, soft-spoken rant about how I had abandoned her without warning and how love should include forgiveness. She called it a mistake, but it was not a mistake. Mistakes are accidents. What she made was a request, a premeditated decision to test the edge of betrayal and hope I would not call her on it. She did not expect the silence, did not expect it to be permanent, and when she tried to explain herself to her friends, they were not fully on her side. She did not cheat. Naomi told someone. She asked first. She thought that made it okay. But even that crowd knew what it really was. A gamble. She lost. For the next few weeks, I lived like a ghost. New city, rented apartment, no social media. I went dark on every platform we had ever shared. Even changed my email. Every trace of Charlie Dawson fiancé was scrubbed off the grid. I never responded to anything she sent. Letters to my office returned unopened. Voicemails to my friends deleted. She even tried showing up at a mutual friend's birthday. I was not there. She left early. Sophia's post kept floating around online. A few people reposted it with comments like, "This is why communication matters," or "Men can be so emotionally immature," but others were not so kind. One reply stood out. A guy wrote, "You did not make a mistake. You gave him a choice. He made it. You do not get to cry about the consequences." I never liked or shared anything. I never corrected anyone. The silence did all the work for me. Meanwhile, the wedding vendors tried to reach out. One florist, one photographer. I sent them a single message. Canceled. Keep the deposit. I did not want anything from that chapter. Not the flowers. Not the photos. Not the explanation. Sophia thought what she asked for was reasonable, but she did not understand what a man hears when a woman says, "I just need one more night with someone else to be sure about you." He does not hear clarity. He hears the goodbye. Almost a year later, I ran into Naomi at a conference. It was one of those professional networking mixers. Bad wine, name tags, awkward handshakes. I was halfway through a dry chicken slider when I heard someone say my name behind me. Charlie. I turned around. Naomi, Sophia's closest friend back then. She looked surprised, half relieved, half unsure if I would bolt. "Did not expect to see you here," she said. "You in Chicago?" "Moved last fall. New firm." She took a sip of her drink. I nodded. There was a pause before she said it. "Sophia's still not over it," Naomi said carefully. "That does not surprise me. She said she thought you would come back, that you just needed time." I raised an eyebrow. "She asked to sleep with her ex before our wedding." Naomi. Naomi nodded slowly. I know, believe me, I told her it was insane, but she thought if she was honest with you about it, it would mean something. It did. I said it meant everything. Naomi looked at me for a long second. She has been in therapy, said she made the worst decision of her life, that she thought you would understand or at least confront her, not just vanish. I took a slow sip of water and leaned slightly against the table. She did not ask me for trust. She asked me for permission to betray it. Naomi did not respond right away. She just nodded like that line hit a little harder than she expected. She thought you would still marry her, she said quietly. She really did. I gave her a small, humorless smile. That was the problem. Naomi sighed. You were always the quiet one in the room. She thought that meant you would tolerate anything. No, I said it just meant I was watching. We talked for a few more minutes. Light things, nothing heavy. When we parted ways, she did not say goodbye. She just nodded. She got it now. People think silence is weakness, that when someone does not react, does not scream, does not chase, it means they do not care. But that is not true. Silence is not emptiness. It is precision. It is a decision without ceremony. When Sophia asked me for one night with her ex before our wedding, she did not just cross a line. She erased the whole match. She expected me to argue, to fight, to beg her to stay. What she got was consent and then absence. And that confused her more than anything because people like Sophia think love is a negotiation, that honesty is immunity, that if you admit you are thinking about betrayal before doing it, somehow that makes it less of a betrayal. But that is not how it works. She asked me for one night with her past, and what I gave her was freedom, complete and final. That was my answer, and I never took it back. I started over in another city, new job, quiet life. I do not carry the bitterness with me, just the lesson. That trust does not require a speech. It is either intact or it is not. Sometimes I think back to that night on the couch, the way she looked at me when she said, I just need one night, like it was nothing, like I would understand. And I did understand. I understood that love without respect is not love at all, that someone who needs a final round with their past is not ready for the future. And I understood that walking away in silence was the loudest thing I could have done. She made a choice, and I made mine. When she walked out the door chasing her last piece of closure, she never realized it would be the last time she would ever see me. And when people ask me now, do you regret leaving? I just say this. She asked for one last night with her ex. I gave it to her. Then I gave myself something better. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our upcoming stories. Your support means the world to us.